we're gonna hold on the old business. Well, actually, we're gonna combine all the remaining items except for old business item 2, which is now tabled until next meeting. So may I have a motion for the remaining items on the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Becker,
Second.
second by Mrs. Shaw. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Becker?
Item number 1 is approval of the superintendent merit goals. And Dr. Valesky, they're your goals, but I was wondering if you could speak very briefly on, I believe it's goal number 1, having to do with transportation.
Expanding the transportation fleet, trying to bring the services back into the district without using contractors, and looking at options to create 2 distinct start times, with that being, the goal being later start time than we currently have, which is now 7:26 a.m. So trying to move that back, and realizing that we have an entire county system that we have a relationship with athletics. But, so there's some parameters that would limit our adjustment, but looking at options and what it would take, what the financial considerations would be to accomplish that, whether it be in totality or in phases.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We look forward to hearing the results of your study this year.
And updates.
Look forward to giving them to you.
Any further discussion?
President Simmons, does that include all the way through financial also?
Yes, it's everything except old business item number 2.
I think Mark is referring to some of the items on the financial services,
4, 5, and 6
4, 5, and 6.
on this, on the insurance.
That's included, no? Yeah,
Can we separate that out?
we can. Well, let's see. Oh, all of them. Okay, we can separate out 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, need a motion to amend?
Motion to amend, so moved.
Second.
Motion, Mrs. Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw.
And this is, to be clear, these are which items again on finance?
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6?
So now, so we have now amended the motion. All in favor of amending the motion?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay,
Yes.
the motion is amended now. So we are now back in the first motion, which is on the agenda, except for financial services items 4, 5, and 6, and old business item 2.
We're there.
So moved.
Okay, we've already been
We
there.
already have a motion on
Okay.
table. It's fine.
Trying to
Keep up.
keep it going, folks.
Any discussion on those items? Okay. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Becker?
Yes.
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mr. Sismar?
Yes.
Mr. Hahn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lax?
Abstain. Oh, wait, no, yes, sorry. You took, forget it. Yes.
Mrs. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Seeler?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
Yes.
President Simmons?
Yes, motion carries. We have a motion for items 4, 5, and 6 in the financial services agenda.
Mr. President,
Yes, ma'am. Madam Vice President.
I know we tabled this last meeting, but,
This is 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5, and 6 were not tabled.
You're ahead of yourself.
okay. So
We haven't
I
gotten to the-
would like to table the discussion about 4, 5, and 6, because I still am not comfortable having enough information. There are still too many questions that we haven't gotten answers to make a decision, and I just feel it's irresponsible to vote on something without being clear in my mind about what we're
Hold on.
doing.
Mr. Sismar, the request to separate them, is that because of potential conflict or questions on 4, 5, and 6?
Questions?
Okay.
And
Excellent.
in addition to the 4 items on old business, it's all in the same category.
And I agree with Mrs.
Oh,
Becker.
all of them? Okay, so all 4 items. Okay, so
Yes.
these are all
It's
7
all in the
then?
same category.
Yes.
Okay, so then we need all 7 of these items tabled.
So they're not, since there's no
Motion is
motion
dead.
on the table.
Right.
There's nothing to table. They would just have no action at this
So-
time.
Okay, so there would be no action on financial items 4, 5, and 6, and old business 1 through 4 at this
Good.
time.
However, in the previous motion
Yes.
that was approved by roll call,
Right.
the old business items 1 through,
Were approved.
were 1 through
3 and 4.
4, without number 2, they were all approved already.
Okay, to the board attorney, how do we reverse that?
You could have a motion to amend Someone who voted in support of that can make a motion to amend the prior resolution.
Motion to amend the prior resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw.
Just clarify for the record how it's being
Yeah,
amended.
we're amending the prior resolution to remove old business items 1 through 4, not just 2.
I'm going to request that we all email Dr. Valesky or call him.
Let's get to that in a second, but yes, I
Oh.
want to spend time on your statement, but let's get this done
Okay.
first. So,
The motion is to rescind approval of those items.
motion to rescind approval of items 1, 3, and 4 in old business, which
So
is
moved.
motion by Mrs. Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw. Any discussion?
Roll call or we
Let's do a roll call.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Becker?
Yes.
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mr. Sizmar?
Yes.
Mr. Hong?
Yes.
Mrs. Lax?
Yes.
Mrs. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Seeler?
Yes.
Mrs. Shaw?
Yes.
President Simmons?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, so we are caught up with, you sure you got that?
You're now done with the agenda.
Are we done?
There's- Which other, which,
All the
Let's
action
go.
items have been addressed.
for the action item?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Mrs. Becker.
I was just going to
you have
say
the
that
floor.
That's accepted.
The agenda's been acted on.
I want to
That's what I
put part
thought.
of the onus on us, and that I think we have to be very clear to Dr. Valesky about the information that we need to make this decision, and that I think we should all ask for specific information so that it can be covered in our next board packet. I've heard us talk about various aspects of this, but again, I don't want to put it all on the administrative side. I think we need to be very clear in what we need to know to feel comfortable with voting on this finally.
Okay, all right. All right, on that note, any good of the cause for, or committee reports or otherwise for the board? High school, please, bring the temperature down a little bit for us.
Well, it's your bi-monthly broadcaster from EBHS reporting in. And of course, there's always a lot to talk about. I mean, everyone has left, but I would like to take the time to thank,
You're being recorded.
The important folks are here.
the principals and the assistant principals. I would like to take the time to thank them because they have created a school culture, especially I know in East Brunswick High School. Excuse me. They've created a school culture which is very important to promoting school spirit and school community as well, school unity, excuse me. So I would like to thank them. As mentioned before by Dr. Valesky's report, we did have Respect Week, promoting awareness of acceptance and respect to both their peers as well as many other people. It's very important to understand that, and as a result, you see it throughout the district being very important, highlighting the values of the EBHS One initiative. Now on to athletics. Yes, we did have our pink out match, and the girls volleyball team did win, so congratulations to them. Spirit Week is also coming up very soon, so our pep rally will be next week, which will promote even more school spirit. On that note, homecoming is also next week, a very exciting and important event. So class council from each grade, the class councils, from each grade will be getting together to discuss and decorate the hallways for the big night as well as the cafeteria. On to clubs and activities within the high school. Many clubs have been hosting tryouts, giving students opportunities to give some of their best presentations so far from what I've seen. And it also gives them opportunity to participate in clubs and activities that may be of interest towards their future success. Also, honor societies are a very important and vital part of our EBHS One initiative, and also the idea of honor and integrity that the school continues to instill to this day and is very valuable to our school values and our school culture. So honor societies are starting to accept applications, and many applicants are submitting. So this gives students the opportunities to participate in subject matter that interests them the most, while also giving back to the community in such a way, whether it be through tutoring or volunteering at certain schools. Also, many clubs are starting to incorporate social media initiatives, which paints a picture and a story of how EBHS communicates information to the public. And in turn, it provides a very nice review of the school year and will allow for students to explore different opportunities if they're interested in the future, like the drama club kids who came to present today. They have that opportunity to see the different activities the high school has to provide. And of course, We did have the seal of biliteracy test, which was mentioned before. And yesterday was actually a very big day. It was a half day at high school. And yesterday was both the PSAT day and senior seminar. At that point, which promotes college preparation for all of the students. The PSATs gave preparation for many of the students who will be taking the SATs or the ACTs, and senior seminar gave a very interesting overview of the future for college preparation and so forth. So overall, it was a pretty interesting few weeks. Yes.
Indeed.
Thanks.
And just think, in 30 years, you'll be me.
Plan
Sure
ahead.
response not.
Yeah, plan ahead.
Put it on your calendar.
Stay in school.
Don't graduate.
So bad.
Can we leave her back? Are we allowed to?
I'm not really sure where to go from here with this.
Hey, Evie did well by me, come on.
Okay. On that, thank you. Can anybody top that?
No.
No? Okay, anybody want to just give us some run-of-the-mill stuff?
I got a quickie. I just want to say how sorry I am that I'm not going to be able to attend the ceremony at Warnsdorf for School tomorrow commemorating their 50th anniversary because of work obligations. But I want to congratulate the Warnsdorfer community. It is one of the best examples in this town of when a total perfect storm, when educators, parents, students all come together and create this wonderful community within a school. And I just want to congratulate everyone for the past 50 years who have had to deal to anything to do with it, and especially to the current staff, student, and parents.
And that one I graduated from, 42 years ago? So I get to go tomorrow as a board member and a Warnsdorfer graduate. See?
Congratulations.
Straight away for me.
Are you one of the older alumni? Laura?
Much older. Yes, because I went to 6th grade. I was before the change, so I actually went to Warnsdorfer in 6th grade.
Cool.
Yeah.
President Simmons, real quick.
In a sec, I'm just trying to get over the calendar of Mrs. Lax's life here. I'm trying to visualize it now in my head. But I'll
According to calendar, it took you 12
yeah, there's a
years
reason
to
for that.
graduate.
Oh, I can't,
Class of '87, but, okay.
All right, moving
Mr.
on,
Sismar.
moving on.
Real
Some struggle
quickly,
even more.
Ed Camp
Yes.
was fantastic. Mrs. Reese, I saw there, and Mr. Seeler. The staff did a great job. There was parents, community members, teachers from other districts bringing in ideas. And the Naviance, I'm a fan now.
Mark.
You know, it was fantastic. You know, I sat in a leadership discussion with teachers from other districts and went to Naviance and, you know, some updates on some of the social media and the language these kids are using that none of us understand. Maybe Mrs. Chang does because she's with the languages, but it's a language I don't understand, even being a cop for 26 years. And it was a fantastic day, you know, and that was the second year. And next year, I hope even more people come, so.
Hey,
thank you.
Mark, what do they mean when they call it like the unworkshop? And that they believe in like using your 2 feet to participate?
So the concept is that it's not a formal conference or workshop. It's organically built, so the people who are there post topics that they'd like to discuss. So it depends on the group that gathers what the topics will be. So it's not arranged in advance, like a formal.
So
And
when they first get there, that's what they kind of brainstorm about, is what they want to learn that day?
That's correct, or what they'd like to share, or what they'd like to lead a conversation on. And the concept
What if you
of-
don't have people there that can answer those questions?
We love to talk.
It's the East Brunswick staff, they make it up, or I don't know.
there's an expert everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the concept of 2 feet is if you're in a session and it's not engaging you, you have every right to walk out and go to another session.
And I have to be honest about the 2 feet thing, you know, there was, you know, 2 or 3 things I wanted to go to in the same 40-minute time period. So I would spend 20 in one, and, you know, it wasn't rude to get up and walk out and spend 20 in another, because there's just so much time in the day. So it was a fantastic atmosphere. And like I said, you could go there and present something if you wanted to. You know, put your sticky up on the board with your name on it, and they would give you a classroom, and you could do your own presentation if you wish. So it's a great idea, and I just think it's going to expand as the years go on. So bravo.
Anyone else? Mrs. Shaw?
I know everyone's been waiting for this. It's the Student Services Board Committee meeting report. I always tell all the members that it is the most exciting, good news kind of committee that the board has. I won't take the time to review every item that's in the minutes. You have them before you. But we were introduced to our new secondary education, special education supervisor, Ms. Rosalia Minervini. We had a discussion and a presentation on iReady, which is a diagnostic and instructional tool that is currently being piloted in 2nd and 7th grade, as well as our special education classes. We took a review of the Hipster program that Mr. Figueroa referenced earlier this evening. And probably my favorite part was hearing about the counseling presence that is now taking place in our classrooms. So we talk about trying to address the needs of the whole child. And I think that the fact that we have increased the number of counselors at the high school, and they are utilizing their time during the day to try to get where the students are and where their interests and their issues lie. I think it's a great first step in addressing that middle child and the needs of the whole child. So that's my report. Thank you.
Anyone else?
We also had our first community programs meeting this year, which deals with the Early Learning Academy, early morning care and aftercare, as well as the JM Pack. Just so you know, the JM Pack is actually is almost full for the year, that they're actually doing run out to the high school now, using the high school facility, because we have so many people coming in with the closing of the State Theater in New Brunswick, so we've got more dance recitals coming there. Also, we have over 1,000 kids registered for before care and after care in the school district, which brings in revenue to the school, in the schools. That's good, but also of that over 1,000 kids, 409 of those kids go to before care and after care. So some of our kids in our district have a very long day.
Right.
And they're doing things there to make the day better for them, as far as make sure their homework's done, or finding different activities there. Also, for Barbara Reese, Early Learning Academy in preschool, we're coding in preschool. They're coding there. Other than that, we have 50 kids on a 20 kids on a waiting list right now for our Early Learning Academy. And if we had more space, or kids have registered elsewhere, there'd be more kids in this program. Obviously, it gives these kids a leg up going into our school district. For the first time, we had professional development over the summer with the teachers and the assistants, which is great. And in order for safety and health of the children, they now have a crisis flip chart in all the schools at the aftercare programs. They're run differently than a regular school, so any kind of crisis prevention is differently. So they did a good job with someone. Every school has a flip chart. They know what to do, who to call, what to ask. So Steve Deck did a great job over summer preparing for this year.
Chet, do you know whether kids, especially those that are in both before care and after care, so we're talking about kids who can potentially be there for as long as like 12 hours?
Yep.
Is there any way to build into the time that they are there just some rest time, or time that they don't have to be addressing homework, or?
They try to get the homework done is an important part after school.
Sure.
So people can eat together and enjoy their evening
Right.
when they get home late. That's for family time.
Right.
They're also want the kids moving also too, for activities, for physical education also. So there really isn't much rest put into this. That's a thought I'll bring back to the next meeting. That is a good idea. There's some rest time. These kids are waking up sometimes 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I mean.
To
But
get to
Just
school.
unscheduled time.
Yeah,
Time where
unscheduled.
it's not a particular activity.
Right.
They-
Yeah.
Flex
Which
time.
would be great, and that's because you know what? Unfortunately nowadays, everybody has a schedule.
Yeah.
Everything is, everything is
kids are
scheduled, everything is
too
scheduled by us,
our
and kids
kids
need
are
to,
overscheduled.
kids need to learn how to rest and play on their own
Right.
without being scheduled.
Right.
So that's more of a parenting thing than a school thing, but we'll work on that. Maybe there should be some kind of rest period there where they just let kids be kids and do nothing with each other.
Yeah.
If they can.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a need for closed session, so we have a motion for going to closed session for the reasons in the printed agenda, but let's add as well, interview of Director of Professional Learning, Evaluation, and Assessment, in addition to the other items in there, including school security and employee number 23609.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs.
Second.
Becker, second by Mrs. Shaw. All in favor?
I.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone.